Hello, in this video we're going to look at the information you need to record from your Avon invoice. So if we start in January, since that's the example month that I've chosen, first of all we're going to want to look at our invoice. So in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I prepared earlier. So you can see you've got your ticks down the side from where I checked everything in the box to the invoice. And what I've done since then is highlighted the customer orders, highlighted my own orders, highlighted the costs, and because I couldn't be bothered to highlight them, I left the stock items empty with no colour. I've classed samples as stock just because of the way that I prefer to account for them. You could equally say that they're just standard expenses, so in which case just lump them in with your books, with your brochures. But like I say, I like to class them as stock, so I've kept them in as stock. So if we go back here, the first thing on the spreadsheet we need to look at is the stock items. So I'm going to show you how I would do it using the stock calculator. So go to the stock calculator, and I didn't refresh it before I started. There we go. So you can see here I've already put in all of the stock items that I've ordered on this invoice. So starting with the top one, I put in the name, which I've put in word for word from the invoice, which campaign it relates to. The item code, you don't need to put that in. I prefer to do it because it means that I've got something unique to identify back to an invoice with. I can say it's that code, it's that item, it was that one that I bought. The purchase date, that was the date of the invoice, the Avon invoice, so I've just popped that in there. The purchase value was 80p, which you can see under your cost. You've got the £1.60 there, but I bought 2 of them. So obviously that's 80p each. And that's all you would fill in from your invoice. Obviously you don't have a sale date yet because you've bought them for stock. And nor do you have a sales value because you haven't sold them yet. So you're only going to stop at purchase value. So we need, if we go back to January, we need the value of the stock items purchased in January. So what we're going to do is, obviously everything in the spreadsheet so far has been purchased in January. So all I need to do is highlight the purchase value cells for all of those items, and down here you'll see sum £40.90. So that is the figure that we're going to put in here. So £40.90. Value of the stock items sold in January. So this is out of all of that stock, what have I sold in January? So if we go back to the stock calculator, now you can see that in my example I've got 2 dates here. I've got the 15th of January where I went to one event and sold a load of stuff, and I've got the 23rd of February where I went to another event and sold some of the other stuff. There are 2 ways you can calculate how much you sold in January, and that is by highlighting each one as you go. And I'm highlighting multiple items by holding down the Control, or if you're on a Mac, the Command key. Nearly missed one there. And highlight and highlight and highlight, highlight and highlight. I think that's all of them. And you can see that we've got your sum down here of £40. Now if you've got hundreds, or even just with this many, there was the potential that I could have missed one there. The easier way of doing it, and the way I've set it up to do, is by using the little arrow and go sale date, drop that down. If you unselect select all, then it unselects everything, and then you can just select the month that you want. So I want January 2017, so I'll tick that, and you can see everything else has disappeared. You can see here that there are several lines hiding. and it's just left the dates in January. So again, all I want to do is highlight those from top to bottom, and down here it says sum equals 40. So if we go back and go to January, we can just pop your £40 in there. So that's your stock. Now, customer purchases, if we flip back here, that's all the lines in yellow. So the first thing we want is the cost of the customer purchases in January. Now, that is the cost to you. It's what you paid for those orders. So that will be under your cost. You've got your £4, your £4, and your £2.80. So that's, what, £10.80. And that is what we put in there. Your sales value of the customer purchases in January, that's going to be what you received from the customer for their orders. So in this case, I received the brochure price from these people, so I know that it was the £5, the £5 and £3.50. If you gave one of them a 20% discount for whatever reason, then obviously you need to take that into account and say, so for example, say I gave Lucy a 20% discount, she would have only paid £4 for that. So you need to add the £4, the £5 and the £3.50. So it's what they actually paid. Now if they paid brochure prices, then you can just take it from here, but this is where it's useful to keep your order forms, because you can go back to the order forms and say, okay, well Lucy only paid me £4, Ali paid me £5 and Nikki paid me £3.50. Which if you've got lots of orders, then obviously that's going to make a difference. This was only a small month for me, or a small campaign. So, where were we? The £5, the £5 and £3.50, that's £13.50, and we can just put in the £13.50 just there. Commissions received from online sales, that's not going to be on your invoice, so for now we're just going to say that's 0. Now returns. This part, we're going to say, for example, that Nikki wanted to return her corrector pen because she didn't want it anymore, for whatever reason. So, the first thing we want is the value of returns you made back to Avon. So that's going to be your cost. So that's the £2.80. So we're going to put £2.80. The next bit is the value of the returns you gave back to the customer. So she paid £3.50 and I gave her back her £3.50. So what that's going to do is take the £2.80 off of the purchase number, the purchase value, and it's going to take £3.50 off the sales value. So you'll end up with, obviously, that less that, which is exactly where you want it to be. What else have we got on here? We've done all the white ones, we've done the yellow ones, we've got the pink and the blue left. So next easiest one is blue. So your books, £5.25. So if we come back to the spreadsheet and down here somewhere, purchase of other items from Avon, that's just going to be your £5.25. Now then, my own purchases. There are two ways you can do this. One is to include them in your customer purchases and treat yourself as though you were a customer, but obviously giving yourself the cost price rather than a marked up price, or just leave them out. Personally, I would just leave them out because the possibility of error is there and it's just not worth it. I mean, in this case for me, £5.60, there's no point adding it in there. And I'll show you what I mean there's no point. If we look just at the commission that you would have received on that, the £13.50 minus the £10.80, you would have got £2.70 worth of commission. That was £5.60 for my own purchases. So if I add in, now you would probably just add in £10.80 and the £5.60 and just replace the contents of the cell. I'm just going to put a little formula in there, so don't panic. What was it, £5.60? And we're going to add the £5.60 in there. And you can see that the overall commission hasn't changed at all. However, if you were to make a mistake and say that you paid £5.80, whether you did or not is another matter, but if you write in your spreadsheet that you paid £5.80, then you can see that it now thinks that you've made £2.90 worth of commission. And potentially you'll have tax to pay on that extra 20p. So that's why I suggest you just leave them out, as I do. Right, so if we now scroll down to the bottom, you can see your month summary. So you can see with the stock items and the customer items and any returns, your total revenue for the month was £50. Your cost of sales, so what it cost you to make that £50 was £48.90, which means you ended up with £1.10 worth of profit. Now you also had that £5.25 of books, so you actually made a loss this month of £4.15. Now, you don't have to use, I mentioned in the instructions, you don't have to use this stock area if you don't want to. If you've got your own way of managing your stock, then go for it. If you don't do any stock, then don't worry about it. If you do have stock but don't want to use this area, just pop those numbers into the customer purchases. So, to show you what I mean, I'm going to go plus, that was the purchases, so you want the purchase number, that was £40.90. And that one was the £40 that you've received in. So if I now delete them and scroll back down to the bottom, you can see that those numbers haven't changed at all. You've still got the 50, the 48.90, £1.10 worth of gross profit, and your £4.15 loss for this month. There will be plenty of other videos covering the rest of this other stuff over the coming weeks. But for now, hopefully that makes sense for the most important part, which is getting the information from your Avon invoice into the spreadsheet. Let me know if there's any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them, or reshoot the video in order to include them if I need to, if there's a fundamental point that I've missed out that one of you guys notices. Let me know. Thanks, bye.